the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The show is brought to you by DraftKings. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up today. We have a little bit of everything. In 30 minutes, we'll talk NHL with Dennis Bernstein, who has covered the sport for a long, long time. Lou Finocchiaro, 90 minutes from now. He's exceptional on the UFC. How about with everything else going on, we got maybe the deepest card in the history of that sport this Saturday. Mike Palm in studio. David Sampson, who used to run the Marlins for 18 years and has a great podcast today. He's on the show a little bit later on as well. Pauly, it is day one of the Masters, and as we begin this show, bright and early Pacific time, day one here is under at least a 2-hour weather delay from what we've been told. It was in the forecast.
Yeah.
Maybe see a little bit of it coming. Didn't know going back and forth until last night that it was going to be 2 hours. But here we are now. They're not going to start until later on in the day.
All right. Mother Nature with the birdie early. Unfortunate, right? Nice jacket, by the way.
Well, I own it, so I might as well wear it on this day every year,
yeah,
right?
That's right, yeah.
I've had it for a couple of years. How often do I wear a green blazer? A couple of times throughout the whole year, but one of those days has to be day one of the Masters.
Have you changed your mind on anything?
I know. I added a little bit of Shane Lowry, though.
Okay.
I liked him already with the first-round leader, and then after we talked to Jeff Seeley yesterday, that was his pick to win. I'm like, he's out there at 55-1, and I took some top 20 on him as well.
Yep.
You?
Yeah, did a little Lowry as well. Going down with the ship with Schauffele. Concerned about Koepka, and added some Matsuyama. Got off Spieth, as I mentioned.
Okay.
Went with Neiman. Got off one old part of Hovland. So
Victor Hovland is at 47-1 right now.
Yeah. Well, no one knows anything, but then again, this has been the year of the big ticket. But when you're tinkering with your swing,
sure.
I mean that's got to be have people heading for the hills and saying no, thank you.
I just love it as the week develops and as we get to day one, you can just tell the guys who are popular and you can tell the golfers who people want nothing to do with. Hovland is Exhibit A. I mean, he was 14-1 to win this event earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And now with his current form, tinkering with the swing, golfers, and they take huge bets here at Circa from the sharpest bettors in the world.
Yeah.
You can have them, is basically what they're saying.
Yeah. Yep. The other thing is apparently not only on this show, but a lot of places, Phil against Tiger's a very popular prop.
Sure.
And it's nothing but Phil money.
Oh, makes sense, right?
Too, with that matchup as well.
All right. We only have a couple of days left in the NBA. Last night, thought it was probably the most important game of the entire regular season based on the division and the 1 seed in the Western Conference. And the Nuggets got there. They won the game. They were down by 3 at halftime. They came back, covered the second half number, covered the game. Joker had 41 and 11. That was a really good game for, well, most of it. I mean, the first 3 quarters specifically. And then Denver just kind of took over, and they were the better team down the stretch. He was awesome. I will say that if these two teams meet in the playoffs, I do think it's going to be a really good series because the T-Wolves can match up quite well with Denver. You concur with that?
Yeah. It's a tough matchup, no doubt. Got shot in the arm. They got Gordon back. But, this is, as Edwards said after the game, Joker's unstoppable with some colorful language, and he is. Now, much has been made about are we sure it's over, and it shouldn't be over because he sees minus 5,000. He's the best player, and I know what Brunson's done and Luka's done has been incredible, but this guy, again, is going to be the 1 seed, and he's the best player in the NBA, and Ant's right. You can't stop him. And even, Brown put Gobert on a poster, and Gobert got lit up by Joker. It just, the guy's so damn good. So now it'd be a tough matchup if that, now can Minnesota get there? I don't know. It's been well documented their history and their franchise history winning a playoff series, and it might be a 2-3 against OKC, but I give them full marks for how well they played. Maybe Towns isn't that good. I don't know. Maybe he's just a scorer. But the way they played since he went down, It's a great job by Finch and that organization because they already won at Denver, and then here, this is a tight game with the 1 seed on the line till late. It's not. I'll remind everyone, it's not over because Minnesota has the tiebreaker. So if Denver happens to go to San Antonio and they kick a game, This isn't over yet.
That's right. So watching that game closely last night, defensively for the Timberwolves and how they were going to attack Joker and everybody else on that side of the court, it's a matchup problem because of the length and the speed and the athleticism. Guys like Naz Reid, who was on Joker. Mm-hmm. Now, Joker was taking it to him earlier in that game, and he ended up with 41 again. But he was deflecting a lot of passes, reaching in, getting some steals, going the other way. Jaden McDaniels, the way that he plays on the perimeter is very difficult to match up against defensively. They have other really good players defensively. They have this big stiff down low. I think his name is Gobert or something like that. Where was he last night?
Yeah.
Where was the minus 3,000 favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year? And I get it, that was Chris Finch's game plan. They want Naz Reid on him. He can float around, do other things. I watched every possession specifically with my eyeballs on Gobert, other than maybe one or two plays in the entire first 2.5 quarters. He was non-existent. He didn't help out defensively at all. He was slow to get up and down the court. He stands there in the middle of the lane, and it's like, okay, if you're going to attack me right now, maybe I'll cause a ruckus down here, or maybe I can deflect your shot, or maybe I can block it. He did it once, and it led to a very nice dunk the other way. That guy, I don't know. This is gonna break me when he runs away with this award.
Me too. Tim Bontemps said it again yesterday on another podcast. Just completely shut the host down and says there's no reason to bring it up and even going after Windhorst like why he brings it up. Who's a better defensive player right now? Wembanyama. Who affects and changes a game more and has more impact on a game? Wembanyama. But we're going to give it to Gobert because they have a better record.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
they have a better record, and he's got awesome defenders surrounding him on that team.
Yeah.
Which makes it much easier to anchor down low.
Yeah. Just show him the video of the 3-on-1 from Memphis the other night. But so if they get the 1 seed, though, it's going to be, I mean, it really could be how it sets up to be Boston and Denver in the finals. Denver will win that, by the way. I don't give Boston much of a shot, but we'll do that later. But the thing is, we are set with L.A. and Dallas and for the 4-5. So Dallas is 16-2 in their last 18 games since this new lineup, and their defense is number 1.
Oh, yeah.
So the way Luka's playing, and then you added Gafford, and how well, and the acquisition of Washington, and Kyrie's playing great ball, and putting Jones out there in the starting lineup, we've been sitting here for like 2 months. Who can give Boston a series? Who can challenge Boston? In the West, I think it's Dallas, and that's just about it. Because now they're gonna be the 1 seed again. Joker's so good; he's Michael Jordan. His stat line's ridiculous. You're judging a book by his cover with the people that still refuse to give him his flowers because the guy's so good in what he does. He's going to win the MVP again. I think it's Dallas in the 1-5 if that's the matchup. But the only team that can give Denver a series if they're going to get the 1 seed.
Well, I think other teams can give them a series. It depends on how many teams can actually beat Denver if the Nuggets have home court. Again, I think the Timberwolves can give them a series. I think that's a really good matchup. And oh, by the way, Anthony Edwards is fantastic, and he could average 35 a game in that series. The question mark is what this team is going to be like once Towns comes back.
Well, I'll give you that. But then again, they would only meet in the conference finals.
Yeah.
I don't know if Minnesota's going to get there.
Do you think the Thunder can give them a series? They played Denver exceedingly well this year.
I don't know. I think they will get pushed around down low, and I think the youth and inexperience will show big time.
Can the Clippers, if Kawhi comes back and he's healthy?
Not what I've watched in the last 2 months, no.
You got to draw a line through some of these teams.
Yeah.
Suns, forget about it. LOL.
Yeah. Again.
Pelicans, not going to happen.
Again, you're losing in the fourth quarter last night. That went from 3 to 11. The Clippers sat everybody.
Down in the fourth quarter.
We're losing in the fourth quarter.
Somehow, some way, they covered that 11. Outscored the Clippers by 17 points in the fourth quarter. An 8-point move in the NBA day of. Maybe the opener should not have been 3.
Well, yes, right.
Right?
Because you knew what was going to happen, certainly, but right.
I actually, I don't disagree. I think at this point, you probably have to make Dallas the number 1 team that can give Denver the best series. Mm-hmm. Then I think right behind them, I'm going to go Minnesota and OKC, which is, I still think OKC can be tough, but the lack of experience at that point in the playoffs, the home court, I think would just be too much for that team, that young team to overcome with the champs. And the reason why you have to, I mean, plenty of reasons to like Denver overall, but Dallas, number 1, to challenge them, what you talked about and how well they're playing, You can't. How many other players can you say this about in a 7-game series against Denver? Luka might be able to go toe-to-toe with Joker as the best player in a 7-game series. You going to be surprised if he goes for 35, 10, and 10 every game?
Nope. No, I will not. That'd be a great matchup. And the way they're playing, that 30-1 looks pretty good on a future. But, as you said a couple weeks ago, this, unlike golf, this might be the year of the chalk in basketball. UConn repeats, South Carolina women, Celtics out of the East, Denver out of the West. Chalk City.
Yeah, could be.
Probably how it's
very
gonna
well
be.
Could be.
Yep.
How about the Bucks last night against the Magic?
A good win.
Down freak.
I know Perkins said it. He's right, though. I mean, you still have Lillard. Portis was great. You still have some good players. And that was a huge win to beat Orlando. And bye-bye with the chances here where the Bucks could blow this division. But that was a big win. And
bye-bye Magic 2 seed, right?
That's right. And the Knicks have this big game now where you mentioned about an 8-point move day of. Apparently the Celtics are going to sit everybody. The Knicks are laying 2.5 on the road now. So on the TNT game. So the 2, or definitely the 3 right there for the Knicks, considering it looks like Boston will sit people and probably punt on this game.
I'll give you a really fun market over the next 4 days. Who the hell's going to win Coach of the Year?
Oh, I have no idea. I know. I would have to take Mosley out. You can't lose these games. I mean, they're not even competitive.
No, they're getting blown out.
They weren't competitive. They lost to Houston. Houston had nothing to play for. I can't give it to Mosley. It's Finch or Dagg now.
It's too bad. I could not make a bet here. Right?
I would take the plus price, though.
Forced.
Minnesota's probably going to have a better record than OKC. I would take Finch.
Yeah. Up next, you're going to hear some great audio. All this talk about 5-6 quarterbacks in the first round. One guy says, I'm not so sure about that.
One last chance. Everything you need to know about the Masters from Bill 80. Start your morning with a daily dose. Winning strategies, insider tips, the latest buzz with the free VSiN daily newsletter. Expert analysis, latest odds straight to your inbox, absolutely free. VSiN.com/newsletter to subscribe.
DraftKings posting a lot of NFL draft props here over the last couple of days. They put up that how many quarterbacks will go in the first round prop at 4.5. And the juice has been moving, by the way. The over 4.5 was a major favorite. It has recently been coming down. There is a sportsbook out here in Las Vegas, Station Casinos. They were the first to put any of this stuff up more than a month ago, I think. And they have been tinkering with the juice as well. That got as high as, I believe, 350, Pauly. Minus 350 on the over 4.5 quarterbacks. It recently came down a little bit. So I think maybe a couple of reasons why. I don't know if this mock draft had anything to do with it, but Mel Kiper released his latest mock earlier this week for ESPN. He has Bo Nix going 33rd overall. So dropping out of the first round. Bo Nix draft position at different books is between 26.5 and 32.5.
Yeah.
And now it is juiced severely to the over on that number where I saw 26.5.
I don't agree with that. There were 3 mocks I saw last week who had him going 12.
I don't know if those mocks are going to be correct.
Okay.
Because we've had all this steam now, right, building up to this event, which is 2 weeks from tonight. And it's all about Nix and Penix maybe going in the first round. We might get 6 quarterbacks overall in the first 32 picks. And you're seeing a lot of that narrative. You're hearing a lot about that. It could be that sweet spot, 11, 12, 13, Broncos specifically, maybe with Nix. Then Dane Brugler released something that he calls the Beast yesterday for The Athletic. And Brugler is very well respected in the NFL draft community. In his quarterback rankings, I'll go 1 through 6 here. And he has a first-round grade on Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels in that order. He has J.J. McCarthy with a grade somewhere between first and second round. He has Bo Nix graded between second and third, and Michael Penix graded between second and third as well. So this whole time now, you're just hearing nothing but an avalanche of steam on, they're absolutely going to go super high. Nix is going to go in the first round. You're not hearing much negativity or pushback on that until yesterday. This is Todd McShay, who, of course, covered the draft for many, many years for ESPN. He's no longer at the network. But he was on the Ryan Russillo podcast, and they were talking about all the quarterbacks possibly going in the first round. Here is what he had to say about Oregon quarterback Bo Nix.
everything is Bo Nix to Denver. And I get it. Like you do the Drew Brees, you do like the mobility. And I've even, Kuiper and I were talking offline a few days ago, like last week. And he was talking to me about hand span and height and weight and rushing yards and all those things, comparing the two, Bo Nix and Drew Brees. And like, I get it. And everyone in the league, and talk to him like, yeah, like he fits with Sean Payton. He fits with Sean really well in that system, and that would work. But there isn't a person in the league I've talked to, Ryan, not a single person in the league, like evaluators, scouts, directors, GMs that have a first round grade on Bo Nix.
How about that? He went on to say that every person he talks to said, like the kid, he's a backup. Not a single person he's talked to. McShay, very well connected. Yeah, he's not at ESPN anymore. Who cares? He's been doing this for a long, long time. Not a single person he's talked to has said first round grade. That's pretty strong. Mm-hmm. And again, you see the draft position on him. It's high 20s or low 30s where he might go.
Yeah, but then I could come up into the first round, though, and say, well, he's not going to be there when we're picking in the second round. Let's come up and get him late for one. And then there goes your prop. The other thing is where Penix goes as well, which that's a tough call. I would take Penix ahead of Nix, but as you said earlier, to go back with the Will Levis situation, although that was more about the Reddit post. Willis was supposed to go high. C.J. Stroud, people were killing him. It's like, oh, the boy, every report. And Lombardi said it too. Every report's terrible about C.J. Stroud. Okay, well, he goes second. The guy's a superstar and maybe could have won the MVP if he didn't get hurt. And Bryce Young was the unmitigated disaster. So... who knows? This time of year, yeah, lion season, who knows? But, right, okay, so you think 12, that ship has sailed. That's not going to happen, and those mocks are going to be wrong.
I'm just going to say...
I would not be surprised, and I would still say my bet says Nix goes in the late first round.
I think the market peaked on that prop this week, and I grabbed a little plus 240 on the under 4.5 yesterday. I don't think it's going to go back to that number until, if it does, it might not be until 2 weeks from now, like the Tuesday, Wednesday, or actually draft day, when more info is starting to come out. Remember, the number 2 pick overall last year was still an unknown until an hour or two before the draft. Mm-hmm. And that's when the market went absolutely bananas on Stroud, where he was kind of a short shot, but he was no prohibitive favorite. And then all of a sudden he went to minus 1,000, minus 2,000, minus 3,000, and it was like off the board.
It was supposed to go Will Anderson.
It was supposed to be, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that did not play out like that.
Yep. But people lie and use the media on purpose. It was the Miami Dolphins a few years ago. We're going to take an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And they put it out there. And then they go with Tua. And that didn't happen.
It just seems too easy that all of these teams are going to go, like it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, quarterback. Mm-hmm. That seems like it's going to be way too easy.
I feel very good that the Giants take Neighbors at 6.
Okay.
I think that's going to happen. I don't know if the Chargers stay at 5, then it'll be Alt, but they probably trade it, and that could be Minnesota or McCarthy.
Uh-huh.
And I feel Williams, Daniels, Neighbors at 6, Odunze at 9. That's what I feel good about.
I wonder if the Vikings really have to trade up that high to get McCarthy. Do they have to go number 4, number 5? Like they don't. Why do they have to go ahead of the Chargers at number 4? Chargers aren't going to take a quarterback. Cardinals aren't going to take a quarterback. I don't think the Giants are going to take a quarterback. So could they trade up to number 7? Tennessee's not going to take a quarterback, though. Mm-hmm. Do they have to get ahead of Atlanta, who just got Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. I'll give you another one. Harrison at 4. Because apparently Arizona wants multiple picks to move down.
Yeah.
And who's going to give that up?
I think they stay put. If they stay put, that's going to be Harrison.
They said multiple first-round picks. Did I say that?
Yeah. But yeah. That's what I assume you meant.
Right, okay, thank you.
That's multiple first to go up to number 4.
Yeah.
And then, if the Vikings say, yeah, we don't have to go to 5, doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Chargers staying at number 5. If that happens, this is where the mocks I totally disagree with.
I'll answer your question. Yes, I think they have to do it because of the Denver factor, just to be safe.
Just in case Denver comes out of them.
You don't want to go to 6 and then, okay, we come up to 5 or 4 and then you're left in holding the bag and you're SOL. Then what are you going to do? That's your whole plan gets blown up.
Yeah, if these teams are actually there with J.J. McCarthy. Or who knows, maybe one of these other quarterbacks slides down a little bit. And it doesn't go quarterback. I know it seems very unlikely, but crazy things happen every year in the draft the way it seems.
Yep. Well, someone's got a straight flush, though. Someone's holding something, and I bring it up every year at this time. No one, all these people who cover this, mock drafts, NFL insiders, nobody had Bosa to the Chargers at 3.
Not a single person.
They kept that secret for over 6 months. It was a done deal. They knew what they were doing the whole time. They never leaked it out.
Mm-hmm. There was recently another one just like that, too. Oh, Jalen Carter last year. Remember that? Where the steam on him with the draft pick, with the draft position prop, it was all over the map. And then it appeared like he was going to go way under 6.5. And that was wrong because there was like tons of, like a huge plus price on him to fall in the draft and keep falling. Mm-hmm. And that actually took place. Everybody eventually had him pegged to go below 6.5. Didn't happen.
Yep. I would go over quarterbacks and under wide receivers.
I went under quarterbacks yesterday. You want to have a lunch bet on that too? 2-to-1 lunches?
You want a number that doesn't exist? Trying to get a better number?
Uh-huh. Hey, did you see the point spread yesterday, by the way, did open up on the Packers and the Eagles. Now, globally speaking, this opened up Eagles minus 3.5, immediately shot down to Philly minus 1.5. And I haven't looked at it yet this morning. I'm not recommending that you do this, but if you wanted to, you could tie up a middle here opportunity because globally the total was 46.5. DK has 51.5.
How about that?
You're getting key numbers of 47,
Wild.
48, 49 in that range. Under 51.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other takeaway is once we get closer to kickoff, people are going to lose their minds again, especially the older generation. The game's on Peacock.
It is.
So that's it's Friday, week 1. Friday, I'm going to do this. Everyone stay calm. It's $5.99 a month. You need it for the Premier League package anyways.
They're going to really push the daylights out of Peacock.
Yes, they are.
Don't we have the
And Amazon will have a playoff game this year too, by the way.
We have the Olympics this year, right?
Yeah.
Right? So tied into NBC, that's going to be all over Peacock, and they're going to be promoting the daylights out of, hey, you want to watch this game? Peacock or nothing, pal. What do you want to do? And you're going to be stuck at home on a Friday night not watching week 1, Eagles-Packers? Get out of here. Yeah, you are.
Yeah. If you're over 60, it's a piece of cake. It's 2 clicks. It's no problem.
I know.
And it's $5.99. That's eggs. I mean, come on.
I talked to Chernoff yesterday. He said the popularity on Green Bay this year is going to be off. That's my prediction,
too.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be way too much of it.
Yep.
We'll talk NHL. Dennis Bernstein on the program up next. He's covered the league for many, many years. What's more likely to happen? A Canadian team to win the cup, reach the cup, that is, or none to get out of the first round?
Limited time offering 2 weeks of our exclusive betting splits. Just sign up, vsin.com/splits. It's updated with DraftKings odds every 5 minutes. You can check out future events as well. Limited time offer, vsin.com/splits. Claim your free 2-week access. vsin.com/splits. Go get it now.
Big fan of our next guest. Awesome human being. Does a tremendous job covering the NHL. Has for many, many years. For the fourthperiod.com, also on SiriusXM NHL. Dennis Bernstein joins the program now. Good morning, pal. How you been?
There's a short list of people I get up at 4:30 in the morning Los Angeles time for. Very short. Very short. I'm doing great. Can't wait for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to be doing the pregame show for SiriusXM for the Cup final. But look, guys, there's probably 10 teams you can make a case for winning the Stanley Cup this season, which is great for the sport.
Yeah, it really is. By the way, I thought you were definitely on the East Coast when you decided to come on today. I didn't think you were going to wake up and...
Oh, I felt confident.
When follow the money calls, come on now. When
Okay.
follow the money calls, you make it yourself available.
Thank you, sir.
And Dennis is on the progressive guest line here. Here's what I said before the break. The Canadian teams this year are damn good. Do we say this every single year? I don't think we do.
No.
Maybe we did last year, but... What's more likely to happen, in your opinion? A Canadian team actually reaches the cup, or they all lose in the first round?
Canadian team reaches the cup because there's so many in the West, and you can make a legit case for Vancouver and Edmonton, and to a lesser extent, Winnipeg. If you like the goaltending in the Central, you have to lean towards Connor Hellebuck and the Winnipeg Jets. But it could happen. Are they going to win it all? I'm not sure about that, but it's more likely that those teams, at least one team, wins, as opposed to not getting to a cup final.
Well, we were looking at probably Edmonton, Vegas this whole time, but it's probably going to be the 1-8 now. I didn't see this coming because Vancouver's going to spit up the division.
Yeah. I'll tell you on game 82, which is the last game of the regular season in NHL, how the seeding's going to go. Nobody knows. Edmonton's 4 back of Vancouver, 2 games in hand, and they play each other on Saturday. That could be a deciding game. Dallas and Colorado, there's a little bit of a gap there, but the Kings and the Golden Knights are playing a little dance with Nashville as well. So, and again, that's the great thing about it. Like, that's why I keep saying we don't need expanded playoffs in the NHL. Like, we got them right now. We've had it for like 6 weeks. I just love the format the way it is. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, Pauly, to your point, Vegas could wind up as the 3 in the Pacific. I want them playing Edmonton, or they can wind up the 8 and play Dallas, which I think right now when you look at these teams, I think you'd much rather play Edmonton, although they're still very dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds to me like then basically nothing in either conference would really truly surprise you.
I think that the 3 seed in the Metro, either Washington or the Islanders, winning against Carolina would be a huge upset. And then, of course, the team falling to the 8 is going to play the Rangers. I don't see the Rangers going out and 1. I'll say this one thing about this. The Rangers don't want the Islanders to fall to the 8. Not because they won't beat them, but because the emotional impact that backyard series had with each other when they're playing each other, and there's a lot of fans in each building. Like, they don't want that emotion in the first round because the Rangers have a legit shot to go to the Cup final as well, but very little would surprise you, Mitch, in the first round, yes.
Are they the best team in the Eastern Conference in your opinion? Sorry, Paul.
No, bro.
The Rangers?
Yeah.
They are, but they're beatable. It's not a walkover. It's not like, Tampa of a couple seasons ago or Colorado. They have the goaltender. Their top guys are great. The defense is solid. Will their depth score in the playoffs? That's the question. Below the top 6, will they get enough contributions from them? But could they go? Yeah, they could go. But they could go out and stick around too against Carolina because Carolina's ready as well.
How about the pressure on the Bruins and specifically in the first round? And you probably have to play Tampa.
Yeah, I think it's more pressure playing Tampa than thinking about last season when you were up 3-1 and Marchand's coming in on a breakaway at the final horn and he can't score and Florida raises up. Now, hopefully if you're a Bruins fan, they learned from that. Like Tampa Bay learned. Remember when they went out against Columbus and everybody said this team choked and they never win and break up the team, and they stuck together, won 2 championships. So is there pressure? I think there is a little bit, especially, Paulie, if they go down in the series, 1-0. If Vasilevsky puts up a great game in game 1 against the Bruins and are down 1-0 at TD Garden, there's going to be a lot of pressure. I think the pressure is more playing a team that is very equipped to beat any team in the East as opposed to thinking about last season.
What happened to the Flyers? They've lost 8 in a row and they just gave up 9 goals to Montreal. Yeah. The whole time they were in this and they were going to make the playoffs. And now they can't even win a game. And I imagine the Rangers spank them tonight.
Well, the thing about the Montreal game, you mentioned they lost 9-3. You figure, okay, your special teams are crappy. You gave up 3 or 4 power play goals. Montreal didn't have a power play in that game. They gave up 9 5-on-5 goals, Paulie, which is astounding. First of all, they're not that good. They're not that talented. Where they sit right now is where the talent level is. But John Tortorella's done an amazing job putting that team together, having to commit, not quitting on a shift, blocking shots, playing with structure. But at some point in time, like, you start losing and you lose structure and you lose confidence. And the biggest thing, it's not the execution. Obviously, this team lost confidence at some point. Like, when they go on the ice, they know they're not going to win at this point. So, and what the story is now from John Tortorella, and smartly, rightfully so, is let's not undo all the great things that we've done in this season, where we were in a playoff spot since December up until a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot of good things that happened in Philadelphia this season. Will the bad ending overshadow it? I don't think so, because at least they have a base to build from. But again, Paulie, they're not the most talented team in the world, and when you lose faith and commitment, this is what happens with respect to the Flyers. Okay, so we were rooting for Canada, and all this talk about Canada, and we hope they can make a deep run. How excited would you be with Colorado, Winnipeg, and would you give the Jets a shot there? Yeah, I think that would be a great series, and I might tip my hand with respect to the voting for the Hart Trophy, which is the MVP in the league. But, anytime you have Nathan McKinnon on your team, you're going to have an advantage. He's been amazing for this team. But I'm not certain about Georgiev and Colorado's goal. You watch again, they played against Dallas last weekend. They gave up 7 goals. He wasn't good. And that's the one flaw. And again, I told you there's 10 teams you can make the case for winning the Cup. Those same 10 teams you can make the case for losing in the first round. And Colorado's one of them. I don't trust the goaltending. They have a superior team, but the goaltending's a question mark. And if you, like I said, if you like a goaltender, clearly the best goaltender in Central is Connor Hellebuck. Can he carry the Jets to a win in the first round against Colorado and Dallas? I don't know, Pauly, Mitch. That's a gauntlet to run. I could see Winnipeg winning one round, maybe upsetting Colorado, but then after that, it's going to be a long series to go into Dallas, assuming Dallas wins and winning that series. That's a big ask for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, by the way, in that game, I think it was on Sunday night, Colorado hosting Dallas in Denver. That was a back-to-back for the Stars, and teams back-to-back at altitude were 0-21. Going back, and they scored 7 times and rubbed their faces in it that night.
Yeah, and that's how good they are. But to Colorado's credit, that even with that loss, they're the best home record in the league. They're 38-1. So it's important for them, and they're only 2 points ahead of the Winnipeg Jets. Like, so people say it doesn't matter. Let's get in. You hear that cliche? That's BS. Like, when you're 38-1, you want to play at home in the first round. Right. And the positioning of certain teams, like you want to avoid, the really hot teams. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, Dallas, there's a reason why they're that good. The roster that Jim Mill put together, the general manager, is flawless. Just the one question mark is Jay Ottinger, and that he hasn't been good since last year's playoffs.
You like anything tonight? The Red Wings take on the Penguins. Devils take on the Maple Leafs. I mentioned the Rangers taking on the how bad Philadelphia has been. Anything stick out tonight?
Yeah, you got to play the puck line on the Rangers. I mean, Philly's going to give up another 9 goals. They're done. They're cooked. Right. I like that game, and I got to like Pittsburgh playing at home. Look, Sidney Crosby's not going to win the Hart Trophy for the MVP, but he's certainly an MVP for that team. He has carried that team on his back for the last month or so when everybody had them deaded out like other teams in the East. And that's why you don't expand the playoffs. But Sydney's been great. So I like Detroit home as a small, favorite. I love the Rangers tonight because Philadelphia is just done.
All right, my friend. Boa's Steakhouse, Beverly Hills on me. Thanks for getting up at 4:30.
Always great being on Follow the Money, boys. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
All right. We definitely owe that guy one big time.
Absolutely.
He joined us on the Progressive Guest Line. Dennis Bernstein, by the way, the fourthperiod.com, Sirius XM NHL.
Best king crab legs I've ever had.
Better than Joe's.
Boa's, yes. Oh. One correction. It's going to be Dallas, Vegas, probably. And then be Edmonton, Nashville.
How's that going to go for the Golden Knights?
A week left in the season here. And then the madness starts with all the playoffs. They're not playing well.
No, they are not at all.
But we've said that the last couple of years, and then, okay, they win the cup or they make a deep run. But how about Florida-Toronto in the first round after what happened last year?
Pretty decent, I'd say.
Yeah, but can Toronto atone and make up for what happened and get some revenge? And I'm with them. I mean, all the pressure that'd be on Boston.
Boy,
you don't want to see Tampa Bay in the first round.
Oh, absolutely not. That'd be pretty much the last team I think that you'd want to see. Back to the West for a second. Don't you think Nashville would give Edmonton a damn good series? The way that they've played now for a couple of months consecutively. It's the NHL playoffs.
It's all about goaltending, though, too. And that's, you don't know what you're going to get with it. It was such a disappointment last year with Skinner that they had to make a goaltending change. You couldn't score on Edmonton the last month and a half of the regular season last year.
Yeah.
And then Skinner turned out to be a sieve, and he had a meltdown against L.A., and then Vegas took him out.
Up next, Paul's going to recap last night's betting action and win some, lose some. How about some of these line moves in the NBA? And now a run that is 34-5 going back.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Mitch mentioned it earlier. Day of game. 8-point move in the NBA. Clippers sat everybody, and the Suns still trailed in the fourth quarter. From 3 up to 11, and 227 down to 221. They finally pulled their heads out. I took it to the Clippers in the fourth quarter.
They started 3 of 19 from downtown. A lot of open shots, couldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
Full-time panic mode. I want nothing to do with this team in the playoffs.
Yep, I'm with you. Charlotte money line plus 450. Bad loss for the Hawks. Likely going to get the 10 seed now and play the Bulls in the 9-10. Loser goes home. Mavs Heat under. 218 down to 215. Mavs just buried them in that game.
Well, they kill teams.
I mean, the 16-2 run with the defense, and one of the losses, I believe, Luka didn't play.
Yeah.
Boy, they're good.
Now, again, this was brought up recently. John Murray did this on his podcast at the Westgate. He said, why do people ignore betting huge dogs, first half money line? All they want to do is full game money line.
Uh-huh.
He goes, that you can't forget about that possible angle. Happened again last night in the NBA. Not only the Clippers, Memphis Grizzlies catching 19.5.
Yeah.
14 guys were on the injury report. 12 guys missed the game. They led at halftime.
Yeah, great call.
Against Cleveland. That was a gigantic price at halftime.
All great points. Yep. It's like Major League. Who the bleep are these guys?
Yes.
Never heard of them. But again, it goes back to when everyone's out or a star is out, you disrespect your opponent, you let down. Next thing you know, you're in a game. Peterborough United did it again. 3-0 final. 34-5 overrun, 2.5 goals. It was $1.90. Could have middled it too. 3.5 was available. 3, with soccer, you can do whatever you want. You can make it rain out here. But
you've been all over this for months. How early did you detect this? Was it like when they were like 10-0 to the over, 8-0, something like that?
That's a couple months ago.
Oh, it was early on in the season.
Yeah. Well, that was Cheltenham Town, though. Cheltenham Town was right away because they couldn't score for like 2 months. But
yeah.
Peterborough was probably December, January. But then, yeah, we're talking about 40 matches. Yep. Cardiff City plus 340. Ipswich, Watford draw plus 360. Champions League Barcelona plus 235. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos. You sent this in. Dog with the faucet. Yeah! Dog turning the faucet on. He's got the little guy. Sure, not a problem. Coming in. He knows what he's doing.
He's standing up on the hind legs, using
he's a puppy.
His front paw to turn on the faucet to get a drink of water.
Yeah.
There are multiple videos of this happening.
Oh, there's multiple?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. He's got to be a couple months old tops, and this is a smart fella right here.
Oh, he's no dummy.
Yeah, I know how this works. Yeah. Monkey see, monkey do. There is another one, right? Coming in, yep. He knows how to turn it on and then get in there and get a little refreshment. Not a problem. The first one's the best, where he's coming in.
Oh,
there it is.
Standing up.
Standing up, right. Excellent. That is good. Cigar City Jeff sent this in. Wanted to play a little Ultimate X. He had $200 in free play. He used the $200 in free play, took $300 of his own money and put it in and went right to dollars. And he was dealt 3 aces with multipliers and got 2 of them. No kicker, but he caught 2 of them and walked away with almost $4,000. Good for him.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that is good. Excellent job there. Well done, sir.
That is a fun game.
Lose some. Heat from 6 down to 2. Heat are going to be in the play-in. Blown out at home by Dallas, and the Magic plus 1.5 went off the favorite. Great performance by the Bucks. Took them out, no problem there. Couple videos, couple tweets. This was great. This was all over X the last couple days. Look at the Bears, the Cubs trying to get in the hammock. And it's not, he comes. One guy's is already in there, and his buddy knocks him out. He goes, what gives? So now 2 try to get up there at the same time. That's not going to work, right? So you got 3 Cubs, and they're all trying to get in the hammock. And right away, look at that. The guy's already in there.
Yeah.
But the other guy tries to get in, and he knocks his buddy out, and he goes flying.
The first guy's taking it easy.
Yeah, right.
Probably snoring. Like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah.
I will say, getting a hammock's kind of tricky once in a while.
Yeah, right. And those, it's not going to work how they're doing it. So this is that might take a while to be able to.
Circus.
Yeah, you watch that one on a loop. Absolutely, that's going to take some time. Yep, caught red pot. Was this the guy? Yep, the guy went to Wendy's and the owner turns his head, and someone put their face in the fries. You see what he's wearing there on the side when he got red-handed at Wendy's drive-thru, coming in looking for the drink and also the fries, wearing it on the side of his head. Incredible, right?
Promise, wasn't me.
That's right. Couple bad beats. Red Sox and White Sox. Red Sox $1.10. White Sox plus 210. They both blew 5-0 leads. Action-packed fight card taking over Vegas. Lou Finicaro coming up in 40 minutes. UFC 300. And the official sports betting partner of UFC, DraftKings Sportsbook, giving you a chance to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any UFC 300 bet. Download the app, use promo code VSiN when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. A couple other things. I'm just going to go rapid fire here. When you're covering a gambling story, you have to give both sides of the story. And I see multiple reports, and in like the local newspaper here, a lucky player hit 8 jackpots, coming away with a total of $1.4 million. And okay, but he's betting $2,500 a push. So to put it out there, like, you know, he won 1.4 and that's what he's up. But what, I'm not saying he's down, but he's certainly not up even close to what is put out there about what he won. Think about how fast that goes. 25, 5, 7, 10, 12, 5, 15, 12. Every time he hits the button, it's $2,500.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played that denomination before.
Well, that's right.
I have played $100, push, that kind of stuff before.
This isn't video poker. This is slots the guy's playing.
Yeah, right.
Imagine how fast it goes. Every time you hit the button and it comes down with the reels, $2,500. Do it again, you're in $5,000. Do it again. Sure. That's $10,000.
If you push it fast, you're getting a push probably every 3 seconds. No exaggeration, 3 to 4 seconds.
Good point.
Right?
What if they're playing fast?
So,
you can do right. How many times you can hit it?
You're probably not sitting there with another person having a conversation. Let me hit it once. Okay, now how's your day? The weather look good outside? Now what? Yeah. That doesn't happen. But even at like $100 denomination, that can zip by. I mean, in the blink of an eye, man.
It's the same thing if the person's playing single play, like $250 or $500 a push in video poker. I mean, at that point, full houses are jackpots. So, yeah, you're going to hit a ton of jackpots, but then what's the damage at the end? The other one. Now, this is put out there that the interpreter was able to turn off the banking notifications and stuff that Ohtani would get right before he would send the wire transfers. I don't know what goes into that. That's wild to me, but that's...
He pled guilty.
Yep, in a hurry, too.
Yeah, the feds have evidently talked to Ohtani as well. So that's a new element to the story for sure.
It is.
How often does Ohtani check his accounts?
I know.
Notifications
well, that makes
don't
sense,
come in.
though, if he's able to do that. If I'm able to turn everything off with notifications and whatever, it's like, okay, I'm not going to notice the $400,000. And Adam Silver was asked about Jonte Porter. Remember, like, it's where there's smoke, there's fire. Who's betting? Why would you bet an $80,000 same-game parlay on a guy you never heard of that averages 4 points a game? And he left those 2 games early with injuries or eye injury and wasn't feeling well. I have enormous range of discipline available to me. It's a cardinal sin what he's accused of. The ultimate extreme option I have is to ban him from the game. That's the level of authority I have here because there's nothing more serious, end quote, about Porter. Makes $400,000.
He might do that too. Silver could do that. Also, Commissioner Silver, you need to clean up your league. Beyond that, too many games. Cut back on the salaries if you have to. The players would never agree to that. I understand at this point. But at this time of the year, and it's not even just the final week, it's the final month, 2 months of the season. The injury report stuff is complete nonsense. And how about the integrity of the game with these teams? The Grizzlies, again, 14 players on the injury report before the game. 12 of them did not play. That cannot happen. You have to have better rules than this.
Well, Embiid, LeBron James.
Yes.
A guy can't go from out to in a span of a couple hours, day of, and LeBron James can't be 2 hours before a tip. Oh, he's sick. Yeah, he's out.
You can't have certain players run the entire league. You got to put your foot down at some point. We do have an update on the Masters. I know that we're on bright and early here. First round was supposed to be underway at this point. It is not. Boy. The first round will now begin at 10:30 a.m. Eastern off the 1T. The honorary starters ceremony will begin at 10:10 a.m. Gates will open at 9:30 a.m. Thanks to Masters.com for that update. Not the way that we wanted to start the event, but it was in the forecast, so you could kind of see it coming. Up next, we'll recap a little bit of what took place last night and tonight's card. We'll discuss how this can change the entire landscape of the playoffs. On Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.